What is the creepiest thing that's happened to you personally that made you question reality? I'm a TA for the undergraduate human anatomy class at my university, which means I spend a lot of time in the cadaver lab. It's not as creepy as it sounds. You get used to it. The bodies are treated with respect. The lab is well lit and sterile. And there's always someone else working with you, usually. One night I was trying to get ahead on labeling for the next week's lab practicals. The lab stays open 24/7 to staff with keycards, and I figured I'd knock it out without students interrupting. So I'm in there late, pushing 1 at a.m. I was alone, which wasn't weird at the time. I'd been in there alone plenty before, but this time was different. I had earbuds in at first, but took them out because I kept thinking I was hearing something underneath the music. At first I brushed it off, probably the building settling, HVAC system, usual stuff. But then I noticed it was regular, like a low hum, almost like a vibration, coming in waves. Quiet, but steady. I paused what I was doing and just listened. No movement in the room, no wind, but the sound was definitely there, muffled. It wasn't mechanical like the lights or the air vents. It sounded internal, like it was coming from inside something. I walked around the lab trying to isolate where the sound was coming from. All of the cadavers were stored in large sealed metal tanks, except one. We had one more body than we had crates that semester. So one was stored in a thick black plastic body bag, on a rolling cart, zipped up, but tagged and accounted for. The sound was coming from that bag. I stopped a few feet away. It wasn't shaking, and I couldn't see any movement inside, but the sound was definitely coming from it. A soft, vibrating sort of beeping rhythm. Not loud, but unmistakable. I stared at the outline of the cadaver inside, arms by the sides, feet together. No bulges, no twitching, just the eerie sound coming from what should have been absolute silence. My first thought, this body was not dead. Somehow we'd zipped up a live person. My second thought, no, that's impossible. It's been embalmed. It was prepped for dissection. We go through an entire intake process that confirms identity, death certificates, medical history. But then I just froze. I stood there for at least a full minute, staring down at that bag, completely still. My palms started sweating. My breath felt shallow. I thought about unzipping the bag, just a little, just to look. But what if it was alive? What if I saw something move or breathe or look back? And then the sound stopped. Just nothing. No more vibration, no more muffled hum, just the soft white noise of fluorescent lights and my own heart pounding in my ears. I grabbed my notes and left, didn't even finish labeling the samples. Just walked out, locked the door behind me, and didn't go back for 2 days. I didn't even tell anyone because I didn't want to sound like I'd lost it. Fast forward a couple weeks. I'm in the lab with the lead professor. We're going over something unrelated, nerve structures, I think, when we get to the same cadaver. I mentioned that it's in the bag because we're short one metal unit, and without missing a beat, the professor goes, "Oh yeah, be careful with that one. He's got a pacemaker still in his chest." I kind of paused and said, "Wait, like, active? Probably. The battery's low," she said. "It'll buzz or ping sometimes if the voltage dips. Don't cut into it, those things can pop." And it hit me all at once. That night, that sound, the soft vibration, the muffled pulses, it was the pacemaker, still partially charged, still doing its job long after the heart had stopped. It wasn't a ghost, or a mistake, or a body coming back to life. It was just technology. Medical hardware doing what it was built to do until the very end. I actually laughed out loud when I made the connection. One of those deep, relief-heavy laughs where you realize just how tightly you were wound. I told her the story, and she grinned and said, "Yeah, those'll get you if you're not expecting it." I've worked in that lab for over a year now. I've been in there alone plenty of times since. But I'll be honest, ever since that night, I double-check every bag for metal tags. And when I hear a weird sound now, I stop and think before I panic. Still, for a minute there, I thought I was in a horror movie.